Marvel's cinematic universe has unleashed some absolutely terrifying villains. But let's get brutally honest. Cassandra Nova, she's as threatening as a damp paper towel, bland, forgettable, and the complete opposite of what should make a villain memorable. Now, stand her next to the walking apocalypse that is Thanos.
And as long as there are those that remember what was, there will always be those that are unable to accept what can be.
And it's embarrassing. One has you gripping the edge of your seat, heart racing. The other leaves you wondering if there was a villain at all or just some background noise in the distance.
Paradox.
Thanos didn't just walk into the MCU.
I'll do it myself.
He loomed over it like a cosmic grim reaper, lurking in post-credit scenes, slowly building dread over years. It was a masterclass in villainous foreplay. By the time he finally stepped into the spotlight, everyone knew the universe was screwed. The thing with Thanos is that he knows he's already won. He speaks with the calm confidence of a guy who's placed a bet on a race that's already over. His motivations are bone-chilling because they make twisted sense. Kill half the population to save the rest. It's horrifying, but it's hard to argue with a villain who genuinely believes he's doing the right thing. Thanos isn't about chaos for chaos's sake. He's here with a purpose, and when a villain thinks he's the hero, that's next level terrifying. You don't want to agree with him, but for a split second, you almost do, and that's the scariest part. Now contrast that with Cassandra Nova. Oh wait, did you forget she existed? No worries, everyone else did too. She's like the store brand cereal of villains. Technically, she's there, but nobody's getting excited about it. Her motivations, recycled, her presence, paper thin. It's like the writers grabbed a Magneto template, forgot to hit save A's, and just shoved her into the story. Thanos? Let's be real, he's got that energy. This guy can throw a moon at Iron Man, rip a stone from Vision's head, and somehow still make you want to hear what he has to say. That's not just villainy, that's magnetic. Even when he's casually destroying half the universe, he does it with such quiet authority that you're almost impressed. This isn't your usual mwahaha type of villain. Thanos doesn't need to raise his voice because he knows he's already won. And then there's Cassandra Nova, who has the charisma of wet cardboard. She's supposed to be a telepathic mastermind pulling the strings, but all we get is someone who feels like she's one bad day away from handing out get well soon cards instead of executing a diabolical plan. She doesn't command attention. Hell, she barely gets noticed. It's like she wandered into the story by accident, and the writers just shrugged and went with it. Thanos, he's got an aura that practically chokes the room with tension. Nova, she's like that person who shows up at a party and stands in the corner awkwardly checking their phone. In a universe with big league villains like Loki and Killmonger, you don't just need to show up, you need to own it. Cassandra Nova, she didn't even bring snacks. Are we being too hard on Cassandra, or are we only speaking facts? Don't forget to subscribe for more. Here's the thing about Thanos, he wins. He doesn't just talk a big game, he snaps his fingers and wipes out half of all life. That's not just villainy, that's God-level destruction. He shatters the Avengers and leaves audiences slack-jawed in stunned silence. When was the last time a bad guy won so decisively that you left the theater questioning your entire existence? Thanos didn't just beat the heroes, he owned the whole damn story. It was his universe. Everyone else was just living in it. Cassandra Nova, on the other hand, feels like a villain who couldn't even be bothered to show up for her own takedown. She's built up as a telepathic threat, but when the time comes for her grand showdown, it's like watching someone lose a chess game they weren't even playing. Her defeat is as forgettable as the rest of her presence. There's no emotional weight, no moment that makes you sit up and think, wow, that was a villain. Instead, you're just left wondering why she was there in the first place. She's like a bad Wi-Fi signal. Annoying, sure, but hardly the stuff of nightmares. Thanos didn't just leave a mark on the MCU, he cratered it. Half of all life gone. Heroes left broken, worlds struggling to rebuild. The snap didn't just decimate the Avengers, it shattered the entire universe for 5 long years. The guy didn't just win a battle, he changed the rules of the game. His actions left scars that will shape the MCU forever. That's the sign of a true villain, someone whose presence lingers long after they're gone. And then there's Cassandra Nova, who didn't even manage to be interesting while she was alive, let alone after she was defeated. Her legacy is like a smudge on the window of the X-Men universe, a minor annoyance that's easily forgotten. No one's walking away from a Cassandra Nova storyline thinking, wow, I'll never forget her. Instead, you're left wondering, wait, who was that again? Thanos didn't just roll in, cause chaos, and leave. He shifted the universe. For 5 years, the entire galaxy had to live with the fact that Thanos won. People didn't just lose friends and family, they lost hope. The heroes had to grapple with their failure, and the entire world had to pick up the pieces after his snap. That's a villain whose actions echo through time. Meanwhile, Cassandra Nova's greatest feat was making people forget she existed. She barely managed to impact the story she was supposed to be a part of, let alone leave a legacy. In a world where villains can be world-ending forces of nature, Cassandra Nova barely registered a blip on the radar. She's the kind of character you forget was even part of the movie until someone brings her up. And even then, you're not sure if they're talking about a deleted scene or just a fever dream. Thanos isn't just a villain, he's a phenomenon. He changed the MCU forever, left heroes in pieces, and still haunts the universe even after his death. His motivations, his strength, and his sheer presence make him unforgettable. Thanos will go down in history as one of the most bone-chilling villains ever to grace the screen. Cassandra Nova, though, she's that one bad punchline you try to forget.
He didn't care to find me.
A bland, forgettable villain in a world where the bar has been set sky high. She didn't just fail as a villain, she failed to even leave a mark. And in the world of villains like Thanos, that's the biggest failure of all. There you have it. Thanos, the Mad Titan, is a force of nature, while Cassandra Nova is a footnote in a book no one finished reading. In the villain hierarchy, one stands tall and terrifying, and the other barely stands at all. But what do you think? Are we being too brutal? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more brutal truths.